Hello and welcome to Let's Play Trial of Champions by Ian Livingstone. This is book number 21 in the Fighting Fantasy series. I've decided to do this one next rather than Rings of Kether because I think someone left a comment asking me to do so, and I've obliged. Ask and you shall receive. I'm kind of glad I'm doing this one next and not Rings of Kether as well, because Rings of Kether is another space one, and you know how I feel about the space ones. But I will do Rings of Kether after I do this, I promise. Anyway, here's the cover art. Ian Livingstone, Trial of Champions. He looks absolutely brutal, doesn't he? Okay, let's read the synopsis. Fighting fantasy books, over 10 million copies sold worldwide. At last, a return to Deathtrap Dungeon. The warped, twisted mind of Baron Succumvit has completely redesigned the deadly labyrinth of Fang. New traps and terrors, mazes and monsters await you at every turn, and even before you can enter the labyrinth, you must endure the gladiatorial games of Lord Carnus, the Baron's evil brother, whose unwilling slave you are. Can you survive this trial of champions and free yourself from slavery? 2 dice, a pencil, and an eraser are all you need for this adventure. You decide which route to follow, which dangers to risk, and which monsters to fight. Cover illustration by Brian Williams. And there's Ian Livingstone again, multi-millionaire that he is. Okay, looks like he's on holiday somewhere there, doesn't it? And in some very warm beach. That is very expensive. Anyway, so there's the cover art, as I said. Okay, let's move down now. Puffin Books, Trial of Champions. This is a bit pixelated, so bear with me. When your small boat was rammed and crushed by an ominous-looking galley, you had no choice but to climb aboard. Faced with a crew of hardened cutthroats and their evil, scarred captain, it would have been useless to struggle. I'll just zoom in a bit. Since that cursed day, you have been chained to a bench, just another galley slave, moving to the point of collapse towards an unknown destination. Then at last you reach land and are dragged from the ship out into the glaring sunlight. You have landed on Blood Island and are now the unwilling slave of Lord Carnson. Was it Carnson or something? No, Lord Carnus, sorry. Lord Carnus, a bit blurry here. Lord Carnus, evil brother of Baron Succumvit, creator of Deathtrap Dungeon. The warped and twisted mind of Baron Succumvit has completely redesigned the deadly labyrinth of Fang. New traps and terrors, mazes and monsters await you at every turn, but even before you can enter the dungeon, you must endure your evil new master's bloodthirsty gladiatorial games. Can you survive this trial of champions and free yourself from slavery? 2 dice, a pencil, and an eraser are all you need to embark on this thrilling adventure, which is complete with its elaborate combat system and a score sheet with which to record your gains and losses. Many dangers lie ahead, and your success is by no means certain. It's up to you to decide which route to follow, which dangers to risk, and which adversaries to fight. Ian Livingstone was born in Cheshire in 1949. He is the co-founder, with Steve Jackson, of the hugely successful Games Workshop chain, which specialises in fantasy games and war games of all kinds. He looks a bit northern, doesn't he? You know, I've always looked at him and thought, he looks like someone from, like a Scouser or something, whenever I've seen his face, which is, I've read lots of these books, and even when I was little I thought he looked northern, so that kind of makes sense that he's from Cheshire. Anyway, for those of you who don't know, Cheshire is a county that I think is on the border with Wales, and it's sort of just south of Manchester, I think. Anyway, I'm certain it's south of Manchester. Anyway, there we go. Illustrated by Brian Williams. He looks nasty, doesn't he? Okay, yeah, so this is book 21. We still have Rings of Kether, Seas of Blood, Appointment with Fear, Rebel Planet, Demons of the Deep, and Sword of the Samurai. Yeah, Rings of Kether is a space one. Seas of Blood is another fighting fantasy, sort of medieval fantasy one, but on the sea, I think. Appointment with Fear, that's a sort of futuristic sort of one, like Spy or something, I can't remember too much. Rebel Planet, that's obviously space. Demons of the Deep, I think that's another sea one, but, you know, another fantasy medieval one. And then finally, Sword of the Samurai, sort of medieval, but in Japan or whatever. Anyway, so, yeah. Okay, for Steve Jackson, oh, that's nice. They've maybe sort of made a book for his, you know, business partner. Anyway, here we go. Right, let's speed talk. Before embarking on your adventure, you must first determine your own strengths and weaknesses. Use dice to determine your initial scores. On pages 16 to 17, there's an adventure sheet which you may use to record the details of an adventure. On it, you will find boxes for recording your skill, stamina, and luck scores. You are advised to either split infinitive. You are advised either to record your scores on the adventure sheet in pencil, or make photocopies of the sheet to use in future adventures, or use a text document. Skill, stamina, and luck. Roll 1 die, add 6 to this number, and enter this total in the skill box on the adventure sheet. Now, I have it on good authority that this book is rather difficult, so I'm going to insist that we have a really good dice roll. Okay. No. Actually, yes. Okay, so add 12 to that, and that's 23. That's, oh, wait a minute, we're doing the stamina, aren't we? I meant to do the stamina. Yeah, whoops, I've been doing the stamina one because that's roll 2 dice. Yeah, sorry, I did the stamina first. Anyway, so that's my stamina, that's 23. So let's do the skill now. Oh no, I haven't done it in order. Sue me. I'll see you in court. You'll be hearing from my solicitor, or maybe I'll hear from yours. Anyway, a strongly worded letter. Anyway, roll 1 die. Add 6 to this. No, that's still 2, isn't it? What? Oh, whatever. Anyway, roll 1 die. 5, yeah, that'll do. Okay, skill 11. So that's 11. Someone asked me, if you're going to cheat anyway, what's the point of rolling the dice? Good question. Don't know. I have OCD. There we go. So I'm going to roll the dice whether or not I'm going to cheat for the first scores. But I have it on good authority. This one is difficult. Okay, so you must have really good scores to be able to have a fighting chance at this. Okay, luck box, yeah. Add 6 to the number, whatever. Right, okay. Yes, add 6 to that. Okay, so that gives me 12 luck. John Luck Pickard. Right, okay. Magic. We don't have any magic in this one. For reasons that will be explained below, skill, stamina, and luck scores change constantly during an adventure. You must keep an accurate record of these scores, and for this reason you're advised either to write small... Oh, we haven't split the infinitive this time. You're advised either to write small in the boxes or to keep an eraser handy, but never about your initial scores. Although you may be awarded additional skill, stamina, and luck points, these points may never exceed your initial scores, except on very rare occasions when you will be instructed on a particular page. Your skill score reflects your swordsmanship and general fighting expertise, the higher the better. Your stamina score reflects your general constitution, your will to survive, your determination, and overall fitness. The higher your stamina score, the longer you will be able to survive. Your luck score indicates how naturally lucky a person you are. Luck and magic are facts of life in the fantasy kingdom you are about to explore. Battles. Here we go. You will often come across pages in the book which instruct you to fight a creature of some sort. An option to flee may be given, but if not, or if you choose to attack the creature anyway, you must resolve the battle as described below. First, record the creature's skill and stamina scores in the first vacant monster encounter box on your adventure sheet. The scores for each creature are given in the book each time you have an encounter. The sequence of combat is then, or thus: roll 1 die, or roll both dice rather, once for the creature, and its skill score. This total is the creature's attack strength. Roll both dice for yourself, add the number rolled to your current skill score. This total is your attack strength. If your attack strength is higher than that of the creature, you have wounded it. Proceed to step 4. If the creature's attack strength is higher than yours, it has wounded you. Proceed to step 5. If both attack strength totals are the same, you have avoided each other's blows. Start the next attack round from step 1 above. Step 4. You have wounded the creature, so subtract 2 points from its stamina score. You may use your luck here to do additional damage. See over. 5. The creature has wounded you, so subtract 2 points from your own stamina score. Again, you may use luck at this stage. See over. 6. Make the appropriate adjustments to either the creatures or your own stamina scores and your luck score if you use luck. See over. 7. Begin the next attack round by returning to your current skill score and repeating steps 1 to 6. This sequence continues until the stamina score of either you or the creature you are fighting has been reduced to 0. Death. Fighting more than one creature. If you come across more than one creature in a particular encounter, the instructions on that page will tell you how to handle the battle. Sometimes Sometimes you will treat them as a single monster, sometimes you will fight each one in turn. Luck. At various times during your adventure, either in battles or when you come across situations in which you could either be lucky or unlucky, details of these are given in the pages on the pages themselves. You may call on your luck to make the outcome more favourable, but beware, using luck is a risky business, and if you are unlucky, the results could be disastrous. The procedure for using your luck is as follows. Roll 2 dice. If the number rolled is equal to or less than your current luck score, you have been lucky, and the result will go in your favour. If the number rolled is higher than your current luck score, you have been unlucky, and you will be penalised. This procedure is known as testing your luck. Each time you test your luck, you must subtract 1 point from your current luck score. Thus, you will soon realise that the more you rely on your luck, the more risky this will become. Using luck in battles. On a certain page of the book, you will be told to test your luck, and will be told the consequences of your being lucky or unlucky. However, in battles, you always have the option of using luck either to inflict, no split infinitive again, good, either to inflict a more serious wound on a creature you have just wounded, or to minimise the effects of a wound the creature has just inflicted on you. If you have just wounded the creature, you may test your luck as described above. If you are lucky, you have inflicted a severe wound and may subtract an extra 2 points from the creature's stamina score. However, if you are unlucky, the wound was a mere graze, and you must subtract 1 point to the creature's stamina, i.e. instead of scoring the normal 2 points of damage, you have now scored only 1. If the creature has just wounded you, you may test your luck to try to minimise the wound. If you are lucky, you have managed to avoid the full damage of the blow. Restore 1 point of stamina, i.e. instead of doing 2 points of damage, it has done only 1. If you are unlucky, you have taken a more serious blow, subtract 1 extra stamina point. So it's better for you to lose, for luck than it is for them. Remember that you must subtract 1 point from your own luck score each time you test your luck. Restoring skill, stamina, and luck skill. Your skill score will not change much during your adventure. Occasionally, a page may give instructions to increase or decrease your skill score. A magic weapon may increase your skill, but remember that only 1 weapon can be used at a time. You cannot claim 2 skill bonuses for carrying 2 magic swords. Your skill score can never exceed its initial value unless specifically instructed. Stamina. Your stamina score will change a lot during your adventure as you fight monsters and undertake arduous tasks. As you near your goal, your stamina level may be dangerously low and battles may be particularly risky, so be careful. Unlike other fighting fantasy gamebooks, you do not start your adventure with provisions. Okay. However, during the course of the adventure, there will be opportunities for you to regain stamina points in various ways. No provisions then. Remember also that your stamina score may never exceed its initial value unless specifically instructed on a page. Luck. Additions to your luck score are awarded through the adventure when you have been particularly lucky. Details are given on the pages of the book. Remember that, as with skill and stamina, your luck score may never exceed its initial value unless specifically instructed on a page. Okay, so no provisions. You do not start your adventure with provisions. Okay, here's the adventure sheet. Oh, no one's written on it. That's good. They think like me. Here we go. So, doesn't actually say if I have any weapons or anything. There's nothing. So, yeah, no provisions, nothing. So, 0 provisions. Yep. Maybe it'll go up. I don't know. Can't remember. I've done this book before, obviously. Anyway, background. It is another fiercely hot day, and the temperature in the sticky gloom below decks is unbearable. The air is thick with the acrid smell of sweating bodies. Nobody is allowed to speak, and the only noise to be heard above the monotonous creaking of the ship is the regular sharp crack of a whip and the agonized cry which follows it. "Row harder, you dogs," shouts the one-eyed overseer as he cracks the whip once again. "Enjoy this pleasant voyage while you can, because you'll wish you were back on board after a day or two where you are going." Chained to a bench and straining hard at the long oar which you pull with 2 other galley slaves, your mind drifts back to that unfortunate day 1 week ago when you were captured. When you were captured. Oh, whoops. Oh, sorry, I didn't realise I was thinking down below. I was wondering why that started with with a lowercase letter. You had left Port Blacksand in a small boat to sail south. You had left Port Blacksand in a small boat to sail south down the coast to Oyster Bay. As ill luck would have it, a galley appeared on the horizon, heading in your direction. It drew steadily closer, and it was not long before your boat was crushed under its bows, and you were forced to dive into the sea. There was nothing you could do except climb up a rope that was thrown down to you, as your boat had become no more than a few pieces of broken wood floating aimlessly on the sea. Yeah, that's bows, sorry. It was useless to struggle, as a crew of 20 hardened cutthroats surrounded you. A gruff voice from behind then... A gruff voice from... It's difficult because it's all blurry. A gruff voice from behind them ordered them to part, and an ugly, scarred man appeared, grinning and spitting juice from chewing tobacco onto the deck. His teeth were chipped and blackened, and a foul stench wafted in the breeze from his unwashed clothes. Captain Bartella always delivers the goods. You'll make up for the one who died from the flogging yesterday. Saves me having to kidnap a landlubber. Must be my lucky day, but I wouldn't say it was yours. The captain let out a laugh which was like a long, wheezing exhalation, and then barked out an order to his mate. Take the rat below to meet the rest of the vermin. Since that cursed day you have been chained to your oar, rowing to the point of collapse towards an unknown destination. Suddenly you hear a shout of "Land ahoy!" and begin to wonder what evil awaits you. An hour later you feel the ship bump against a jetty, and there is much shouting until the ship is finally moored. You are dragged from the ship with the other slaves, and see in the glaring sunlight that you are on a small island. A sombre-looking castle sits on top of the island, and next to it there is a semi-ruined amphitheatre, whatever. A man wearing black chainmail armor hands... That's a tautology, because all chainmail is armor. Might as well call it armor. Anyway, a man wearing black chainmail hands Captain Bartella a bag of coins. Satisfied with his payment, the wheezing captain orders his men back to the ship, and you watch them set sail. The man in black armor steps forward, saying, "You are now the property of Lord Carnus. It is your honor to die for his pleasure in the arena of death here on Blood Island. Only one of you will survive, and he or she will represent Lord Carnus in Fang for the next trial of champions. Baron Succumbit has modified his deadly labyrinth and is now offering 20,000 gold pieces to anybody who gets through it. Of course, Lord Carnus will keep the prize if you get through, but you will be spared your life. Baron Succumbit's reputation suffered greatly last year when somebody succeeded in getting through the labyrinth, but he now boasts that nobody can survive his new dungeon. Lord Carnus would like one of you to make Succumbit eat his words. You must understand that he hates his brother's fame. Now follow me." Another one of those. You are led up the hill to the castle, where you are locked in a cell in the depth of the lower chambers. Sharing the dark cell with you are 4 others. A stout dwarf, a man-orc, a sinewy Easterner, and a bald, muscle-bound man. The mood is grim, and few words are spoken as each of you ponders the impending combat. 42 slaves arrived by ship, and only one will survive. The dubious reward is entry to a deadly dungeon. Now turn over. Here we go. Okay, good. 18 minutes through, and we're off. Okay. At dawn the following day, you are woken by the sound of heavy footsteps approaching down the corridor. A key turns in the lock of the cell door, and 2 guards wearing black chainmail enter, carrying trays of food. "Eat well," says one of them, "as you will need all your strength to survive the day. By the end of it, you may all be dead." The guard then turns to you and offers you some bread and a bowl of soup. If you wish to take the food, turn to 49. If you would rather try to overcome the guard and make an escape, turn to 292. That's not me, is it? No, that's not the paragraph one. Anyway, we're going to take the food, of course, because, it's probably not a good idea to run away at this early stage in the game. I mean, it's not going to be like, yes, you ran away and you lived happily ever after. The end! That's not going to happen, is it? So you're almost certainly dead or lose stamina if you don't take the food. Anyway, the soup is thick with chicken and vegetables and tastes delicious. You devour it greedily and mop up the last drops with the bread. You have not eaten well for a fortnight and now feel fit and ready for the coming ordeal. When you have all finished eating, you are led away to begin your first day in the arena of death. Turn to 22. Just realised there's some buzzing. I forgot to get rid of it. There we go. Starting to do my head in. Anyway, 22. You are in the middle of the procession of 42 slaves, which wends its way along various corridors until you reach the amphitheatre. The sun is already beating down, making the sand in the arena uncomfortably hot to your bare feet. Seated high in the stands is a dark hooded figure surrounded by guards. You watch him rise to his feet and lift his arms into the air, commanding silence. You know why you are here, Lord Karnas begins. It is my wish to be represented in the trial of champions. Some of you will die today, some tomorrow, and more the following day, until only one of you is left. Those about to die, I salute you. Lord Karnas sits down again and nods his head to signal the start of the proceedings. The slaves are split into 7 groups of 6, and you find yourself in a group accompanied by an elf, 2 Northmen, a dwarf, and an ogre. Your group is chosen first, and you are told that the first event is a race to test strength and stamina. A crude sack containing several heavy rocks is strapped to your backs. You watch as burning coals are brought into the arena and poured over a section of the makeshift racetrack. The 6 of you are then lined up at the start, each carrying your burden, and are told to race round the track until one of you is lapped or collapses. Then you are off, and you all jostle for position on the way to jumping the first pile of burning coals. If you wish to set the pace, turn to 310. If you'd rather stay at the back, turn to 107. Okay, we're going to stay at the back and turn to 107. Having fun already, aren't we? One of the Northmen takes the lead, setting a fast pace. Round and round the arena you run, gritting your teeth harder each time you jump over the burning coals. After 20 minutes, nobody has been left behind, and the Northman increases his stride. Throw 2 dice, adding 3 to the total if you are flogged by the guards. If the total is the same as or less than your skill score, turn to 360. If the total is higher than your skill score, turn to 250. Okay. Okay, so we need to roll 2 dice, not that, and our skill is 11. Okay, so that's less than or equal to our skill score. We weren't flogged by the guards, so we are successful. So we turn to 360. The Northman increases his lead over the rest of you, but you feel you still have a lot in reserve should he come close to lapping the pack. When he gets within 10 yards of catching up, everybody decides to sprint. There are only 2 runners ahead of you, but you do not look back. Suddenly there is an agonized cry, followed by a shout, which calls an end to the race. The dwarf lies prostrate in the sand, having collapsed just as the Northman caught up with him. While you are led back to your cells, the dwarf is quickly put to death before the start of the next race. Turn to 136. Lovely. Absolutely brutal. I prefer to think of it like Pokemon, you know, they just faint and then, you know, then they're sent to a Pokemon Center and then they get up again. When all the races are finished and the survivors are back in their cells, you discover that the bald man does not return. Now there are only 3 others left in your cell. Although exhausted, you find it difficult to fall asleep. Your mind is occupied with what challenge the next day will bring. In the morning you are fed, and then one by one the slaves are led away to the arena. Eventually your turn comes. Excuse me, sorry, it's been a long day. Eventually your turn comes, and when you reach the door to the arena, you are told to choose weapons, broadsword and shield, or trident and net. Make your choice and turn to 275. Okay, we're going to choose trident and net. So yeah, let's just say we've chosen that. Okay, so we have a trident and a net. Make your choice and turn to 275. Here we go. Okay, a guard opens the door to the arena and you step out onto the hot sand, which is now stained red with the blood of fallen combatants. Suddenly, another door to the arena wall opens, and out steps the dreaded Bone Crusher beast, its tough, leathery skin glistening in the sun. Its ugly head is small and houses two narrow, near-blind eyes, a flat nose, and tendrils hanging over its taut mouth. Its torso, however, is massive, and its long arms are dauntingly powerful. If you are to fight it with a broadsword and shield, turn to 56. If you are to fight it with a trident and net, turn to 175. Okay, so we're about to fight it with a trident and net. Let's have a look at the picture first. There it is, lovely. What a lovely creature. Anyway, trident and net, 10 to 175. Subtract 100. You allow yourself a faint smile as you have chosen a good weapon with which to fight your adversary. Edged weapons cause little damage to the iron-like hide of a bone crusher. There is only one way to slay a bone crusher, and that is to make it fall to the ground, whereupon its delicate balance will be totally destroyed, and it will be impossible for the bone crusher to get to its feet again. You move forward cautiously to snare it with your weighted net. Roll one die. If the number rolled is 1 to 3, turn to 31. If the number rolled is 4 to 6, turn to 189. Okay. Right, roll one die. Let's do it. Whoops, need to put that in here, don't I? Just realised it wasn't in the thing. Doesn't really matter though. Anyway, what am I doing? Oh, you're rolling one die. Okay, so we've got a 1, get rid of the buzzing. So we've got a 1 to 3, and we're turning to 31. The bone crusher sniffs the air, and sensing where you are standing, moves nimbly to its left just as you release the net, which catches nothing but sand. Lose 1 luck point. That's good, wasn't it? Glad that happened. Roll 2 dice. If the total is the same as or less than your skill score, turn to 66. If the total is greater than your skill score, turn to 334. Okay, so we're rolling 2 dice again. Okay, that's less than my skill score. So let's turn to 66. Your dexterity allows you to gather up the net while avoiding the sweeping arms of the bone crusher. Once again, you take aim and hurl the net. Roll 1 die. If the number rolled is 1 to 3, turn to 255. If the number rolled is 4 to 6, turn to 189. Okay, so we need to roll 1 die again. Okay, now we get a 5. Good. So that means we're turning to 189. Your throw is on target and lands on top of the near-sighted bone crusher. As it thrashes around, it becomes more and more entangled and lets out an enraged howl. Before it can break free, you tug hard and pull the beast to the ground. The bone crusher lies helpless and defeated. Panting with relief, you are taken back to your cell. Turn to 113. By the end of the day, only one other person returns to your cell. It is the mean-looking Easterner, a man who looks as though he would murder you for 2 copper pieces. As the light quickly fades, a guard shouts out an unexpected command. There are now 2 of you left in each cell. I only want 1 to come out in the morning for tomorrow's combat. Sleep well. You horrible person. The guard bursts out laughing at his joke, and even before he has finished, the Easterner dives at you, brandishing a long, sharp pin which was concealed in his headband. Unarmed, you must fight to the death. Okay, so I lost my trident and net, haven't I? So there you go. Anyway, so unarmed, you must fight to the death. Skill 10, stamina 8, Easterner. If you win, turn to 237. Look at that, even so early on in the book. 10-8. Look at him. Ooh. Anyway, Easterner 10-8. Off we go. I have to beat him with my bare hands. Easterner. I mean, what they mean is Oriental, because Orient means east. So he's an Oriental. That's what Oriental means, east. The opposite is Occidental, so which is west. So why they got to just say Oriental, I don't know. Oh no, it might offend someone. It means east. Orient means east. Anyway, what are we doing? Rolling for him first. My skill is 11. Off we go. So rolling for him first. 10. That's 18. I get 23. Puts him down to 6. At least his stamina is low. 18. I get 18. So that's 18 each. Oops, but 28. So no damage to either of us. 16, 19. Excuse me. 16, 19. I'm just recovering from a cold, so still a bit bunged up. Anyway, 4. Puts him down to 4 because I won that one. Okay. 19, 17. So he beats me there. Done it again. Puts me down to 21 stamina. Didn't I normally put it in capitals? I'm going to put it in capitals. Doesn't look right in lowercase. Yeah, Easterner, there we go. Okay, 18 and 17. Stop getting 18. It's really annoying. Uh, 13 and 18. Oh, I'm getting 18 now. 13 and 18. Puts him down to 2. And finally, 18 and 21. 21, there we go. And that puts him down to 0, naughty naught. And Easterner is dead. So that's that, get rid of the buzzing, and we're on our way. We won, so let's turn to 237. You slump back against the cell wall after the fierce fight with the Easterner and fall asleep from exhaustion. When all the survivors are assembled in the arena in the morning, there are only 12 of you left. The first test of the day involves a deadly machine. You will need lightning reactions and steel nerves to survive it. It is made of a pole fixed to a heavy base. 2 sharp blades stick out from either side of the pole, one at head height and one at ankle height. One of the slaves is made to stand by the pole, which is promptly spun around by one of the guards. The slave alternately has to duck under one blade and jump over the other to avoid being badly cut. Your turn comes last, and there are 9 survivors so far, the 2 others having had their throats cut. Oh. Is this really meant for children? I mean, come on, it's horrible. You stand by the pole, adrenaline pumping through your veins. The guard spins the pole and you start to jump and duck. Roll 2 dice. If the total is the same as or less than your skill score, turn to 94. If the total is greater than your skill score, turn to 324. Okay, this needs to be 11 or less, which it is. Good. Less than skill score, turn to 94. Off we go, 94. Okay, okay, so I'm going to read paragraph 94 in the next video. I'm going to end the video here, so let's just say next paragraph was 94. Whoops, said 84, whoops, can't read. And yeah, so in the next video we'll be dealing with that bladed pole and hopefully not having our throat cut. It's a book meant for children. I just, I won't say any more, but seriously, that is nasty stuff. Anyway, 94. Thanks for watching. Hope you'll join me for the rest of this series. Blah blah blah. Yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye bye.